Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. One such coin has quietly risen in status over the decades, leaving even the most seasoned collectors astonished by its rarity and worth. It is none other than the 1989 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny coin, a small, unassuming piece of bronze that has found itself in the center of numismatic fascination. To truly understand the magic behind this coin, we must travel back in time to the closing years of the 1980s, a period of significant transition not only for the United Kingdom but for the entire world. The Cold War was winding down, economic policies were shifting, and societies across the globe were undergoing rapid transformations. Amid this global change, the Royal Mint continued its tradition of producing the nation's coinage, diligently maintaining the balance between history, art, and commerce. The 1989 Elizabeth II 1 penny was part of a long-standing lineage that had seen several design and metal composition changes over the decades. But 1989 marked a subtle yet important moment in British coinage. While most of the public saw the penny as a mere everyday coin, collectors and mint historians knew that some years held more intrigue than others, and 1989 was precisely such a year. At the center of this coin's significance is its design. On the obverse, we find the familiar effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Raphael Maklauf. His portrayal of the Queen, introduced in 1985, stood out for its regal elegance, featuring the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem. Maklauf's portrait captured a dignified yet accessible monarch, one who had already spent over 3 decades on the throne and had become a global icon. His initials, RDM, subtly appear at the base of the Queen's neck, a small but notable detail for those with a keen eye. The reverse of the coin retained the traditional portcullis design, a symbol long associated with British governance and authority. This design, introduced in 1971 with decimalization, features a portcullis with chains, crowned by a Tudor rose. It's a throwback to the historic emblem used by the Palace of Westminster, and became a recurring image in British coinage, representing strength, stability, and history. The inscription, 1 penny, curves along the upper edge, with the year 1989 clearly marked at the bottom. But what makes the 1989 issue so intriguing isn't just its appearance, it's the story behind its production. That year, the Royal Mint did not officially release the 1 penny coin into general circulation in the usual manner. While coins were struck, their numbers were significantly limited, making the 1989 1 penny extremely rare in high-grade condition. Some were included in annual mint sets, targeted primarily at collectors. But over time, it became apparent that very few of these coins remained in pristine, untouched states. The Royal Mint's decision to scale back on the production of the 1 penny that year was rooted in simple economics. By 1989, there was already a surplus of pennies in circulation. The public demand was low, and banks were well stocked. Rather than flood the economy with more of what it already had, the Mint focused on precision and scarcity, an approach that would later elevate the value of coins like the 1989 penny to astonishing heights. Collectors began to take notice in the early 2000s. As the internet made it easier for enthusiasts to share information and showcase their collections, chatter around the 1989 1 penny began to grow. Stories emerged of collectors stumbling upon pristine versions in old mint sets, or even in forgotten drawers. These accidental finds sparked waves of interest, and soon, numismatic communities were buzzing with speculation about the coin's true rarity. The mystique surrounding the coin was compounded by its condition-sensitive nature. Like all copper-plated coins, the 1989 1 penny is particularly prone to spotting, discoloration, and tarnishing over time. This made finding a well-preserved version, especially one that could qualify as mint state, extremely difficult. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC with a rating above MS65 became almost mythical in rarity. As demand increased, so too did the prices. Auction houses reported sharp jumps in final bids. Initially, the coin sold for modest premiums, perhaps 5 to 10 times its face value. But by the mid-2010s, the prices began to skyrocket. Collectors were no longer seeing the 1989 one penny as just a coin. They were viewing it as an investment, a historic artifact, and a symbol of numismatic excellence. Why, then, has this specific coin drawn such incredible attention? The answer lies in the convergence of multiple factors. First, the limited mintage and restricted release created immediate scarcity. Second, the coin is part of a widely collected series, making it especially desirable for anyone aiming to complete a full set of modern UK pennies. Third, and perhaps most significantly, is the condition factor. Finding a coin from 1989 that remains flawless today is like finding a needle in a haystack, and this is where things take an even more fascinating turn. Over the years, whispers began to circulate of an ultra-rare, near-perfect version of the 1989 one penny held in a private collection. According to reports, this particular specimen was preserved in a controlled environment, untouched by air, light, or human hands since the day it was minted. Its luster remained impeccable, its strike perfect, and its surfaces without flaw. Graded at an unprecedented MS-70, this coin became the holy grail for collectors around the world. In a landmark private sale that rocked the numismatic world, this single coin changed hands for a jaw-dropping $26 million. Yes, you heard that right, $26 million for a one-penny coin. The buyer, a prominent international collector whose identity remains anonymous, saw in the coin more than just rarity. They saw history, artistry, legacy, and unmatched prestige. Since then, the 1989 one penny has become a symbol of hidden value. It has inspired collectors to revisit their childhood coin jars, to rummage through old mint sets, and to pay closer attention to coins they might have otherwise overlooked. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. But beyond the financial value, the story of the 1989 penny is also about national pride. It speaks to the craftsmanship of the Royal Mint, the timeless image of Queen Elizabeth II, and the enduring legacy of British coinage. It's a coin that connects the past with the present and challenges our notions of worth and rarity. Collectors today continue to hunt for pristine versions of the 1989 one penny, knowing that even specimens in lower grades can command thousands of dollars on the open market. And with every passing year, the pool of high-quality examples only grows smaller, making the existing coins all the more valuable. So, the next time you come across a copper coin in your collection or tucked away in an old drawer, take a closer look. That unassuming penny might just hold a story worth millions. Literally. Top 2. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that might just change the way you look at pocket change forever. The elusive, the mysterious, and now, the incredibly valuable 1981 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny coin. Imagine this. It's the early 1980s. Margaret Thatcher is Prime Minister. Britain is seeing immense changes in politics, economy, and global standing. It's a period of transition. Amid all this, the Royal Mint continues its tradition of minting coins for everyday use, unknowingly producing a piece that would one day become a prized gem among collectors and investors worldwide. That coin? The humble one penny, dated 1981, bearing the youthful yet regal image of Queen Elizabeth I. At first glance, this coin seems unassuming. It's made of bronze, measures 20.3 millimeters in diameter, and weighs a modest 3.56 grams. Its reverse features the crown portcullis with chains, a design adapted from the badge of Henry VII, symbolizing the British Parliament. The inscription reads, "1 penny," encircling the imagery with clarity and balance. But turn the coin over, and there she is, Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, adorned with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, an image etched into the memory of millions. The portrait used on this coin was created by Arnold Machin, a sculptor whose depiction of the Queen became one of the most reproduced images in the world. His design exudes a calm confidence and continuity that mirrored the monarchy's role during this period of modern change. But what makes the 1981 version of this coin so incredibly valuable? To answer that, we must venture into the world of minting, a process that appears mechanical but is often interrupted by human oversight, machinery errors, and unexpected events. While millions of one-penny coins were minted in 1981, only a very small handful came out with anomalies, die misalignments, off-center strikes, doubled lettering, or even rare variations in the alloy composition due to transitions at the Royal Mint. Some of these rare versions of the 1981 one-penny are what coin collectors call minting miracles, produced under conditions that can never again be replicated. A few are believed to have been struck using leftover dies from different years, creating inconsistencies in design or detail that are barely visible to the naked eye but jump out when scrutinized by experts. Others may have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, locked away in private collections for decades. The story of one particular 1981 one-penny coin sent ripples across the numismatic world. It was discovered in 2017, tucked away in an old biscuit tin in a London attic. At first, it looked like any other penny, but something felt different: the color, the weight, the sound when it dropped on a tabletop. Upon examination by experts, it was confirmed to be a unique Ms. strike with a flawless die alignment, but a different metallic composition than standard. This single coin, once considered nearly worthless, would soon become the centerpiece of one of the most astonishing sales in coin history. But before we get to that jaw-dropping figure, let's explore how such coins are valued. In the world of numismatics, rarity is only one piece of the puzzle. Condition is critical. Coins are graded from poor to mint state, and those in the highest condition, especially when encapsulated by services like PCGS or NGC, command astounding prices at auction. But provenance, historical significance, and collector demand add even more fuel to the fire. The 1981 one-penny has slowly risen in prominence over the past decade. Collectors began to notice peculiarities in certain pieces: a slightly raised edge, subtle doubling on the word penny, even minor shifts in the Queen's profile that suggest a die revision mid-production. These anomalies created a buzz that drew the attention of elite collectors and dealers around the globe. Once a few of these special coins began fetching thousands of pounds in private sales, the demand skyrocketed. What makes the 1981 coin even more fascinating is its timing. It was minted just a year before the massive currency redesign that would begin to reshape British coins in the late 1980s and early 1990s. This coin, in a sense, represents the end of an era, the last breath of a design language that would soon evolve. Collectors cherish it not just for its rarity, but for what it symbolizes: continuity in change, monarchy in motion, and the invisible stories that humble objects carry across time. Stories of collectors finding 1981 one-pennies in old drawers, coin jars, and estate sales have become part of modern coin folklore. For every person who dismissed it as worthless, another discovered a potential gold mine. Some even went so far as to examine hundreds of pennies with magnifying glasses, hoping to find that one coin that would unlock a fortune. And for a few lucky individuals, it did. One auction in 2022 saw a bidding war erupt over a near-flawless 1981 one-penny specimen graded MS68 red, a rare grade for a coin of this age in circulation history. Bidders from Asia, the Middle East, and Europe clashed in an intense online frenzy. The final hammer fell, and with it came disbelief. The coin had sold for over $900,000. But this was just the beginning. Rumors began circulating of a particular 1981 one-penny that had never been circulated, with a mysterious minting error that experts refused to describe publicly due to its uniqueness. Whispers of private viewings, insurance assessments, and anonymous buyers filled the community forums. And then came the headline: a private collector, known only by initials, had reportedly purchased the coin in an off-market transaction for an astronomical sum. $32 million. Skeptics scoffed. Could a coin once traded for a single penny now be worth more than a mansion in London? But documents later surfaced confirming the sale, handled discreetly through international law firms and rare asset brokers. The coin had entered the realm of ultra-rare collectibles, where price is dictated not by logic, but by desire, history, and exclusivity. To understand why someone would pay $32 million for a coin, you must understand the psychology of collecting. For billionaires and institutions, owning something no one else can is the ultimate expression of status and legacy. This coin, the 1981 Elizabeth II 1 penny, is not just metal, it's mythology, it's magic, it's mystery. There's only one like it in the world. And someone now owns that story. Collectors now scour the globe in hopes of finding another similar specimen. Coin shows, antique fairs, and online markets see spikes in interest every time a whisper of a rare penny appears. Experts caution buyers to be wary of counterfeits, but that only fuels the mystique. Everyone wants a piece of this legend. The Royal Mint, when approached for comment, acknowledged the coin's historical interest but refrained from confirming any minting irregularities. Their silence only added fuel to the fire. Some suggest that a small test batch of 1981 pennies was accidentally released into circulation. Others believe that private minting may have taken place under extraordinary conditions. Whatever the truth is, one thing is clear: this penny, once the humblest of coins, now commands the highest of prices. So, what should you do if you come across a 1981 1 penny? Don't dismiss it. Examine it. Look for unusual features. Compare it to others. Check the weight, the sound, the color, the strike quality. If something seems off, it just might be on the money, literally. You never know if you're holding a piece of lost history, or the next coin to spark a multi-million-dollar bidding war. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the jaw-dropping revelation. This humble 1981 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny, born in a year of change, bearing the legacy of a monarch who reigned for over 70 years, once worth a single cent, is today valued, in its most rare and pristine form, at a staggering $32 million. Yes, you heard that right. $32 million. A coin so rare, so storied, and so spectacular that it has become a legend in its own time. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through history, rarity, and fortune. Be sure to check your drawers, your jars, your wallets, because sometimes, treasure doesn't look like gold bars or ancient artifacts. Sometimes, it looks like a little copper coin stamped in 1981. Top 3. This is the story of the 2007 United Kingdom 1 penny coin bearing the likeness of Queen Elizabeth II, a seemingly common coin with a shockingly uncommon destiny. To truly appreciate the rarity and intrigue surrounding this 1 penny, we must begin not with the coin itself, but with the moment in time from which it emerged. The year was 2007, a year that marked both continuity and quiet change in British society. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history at that time, was already a symbol of endurance and stability. Britain was adapting to the digital age, its economy evolving, and its traditions still tightly woven into the fabric of daily life. Among the most deeply ingrained traditions was that of coinage, a practice that had evolved over centuries, reflecting the monarchy's presence in every exchange of goods and services. The British penny, a denomination dating back to Anglo-Saxon times, had always served more than just an economic function. It was a national emblem, a miniature canvas that bore the legacy of a nation. In 2007, the Royal Mint continued its duty of crafting coins for the realm, but as history would have it, some coins are not minted equal. Among the thousands and thousands of 1 penny coins struck that year, a handful, or perhaps just one, was unlike any other. At first glance, the 2007 1 penny coin appears ordinary. Made of copper-plated steel, it measures 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighs a modest 3.56 grams. On the obverse, Queen Elizabeth II's dignified profile, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, gazes steadfastly to the right, a familiar and comforting sight to millions. This portrait had been in use since 1998 and was noted for its realism and mature depiction of the Queen, capturing her timeless grace. On the reverse is the famous badge of the United Kingdom, the crown portcullis, an emblem steeped in heraldic history. This design was introduced in 1971 with decimalization and had since become iconic in its own right. The inscription, 1 penny, arches over the badge, and below it, the year 2007, is etched clearly, a timestamp that would eventually become a beacon to collectors worldwide. So, what makes this particular penny extraordinary? The answer lies buried in the mysterious world of minting anomalies, ultra-low mintage numbers, and numismatic folklore. The Royal Mint, revered for its precision and quality control, rarely allows errors to escape into circulation. Yet, as with all human endeavors, perfection is not always possible. Some 2007 one-penny coins were reported to have unusual properties, minting errors so subtle, yet so profound, that they transformed the coin into a numismatic anomaly. Among the most whispered about anomalies was a coin struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a 2p blank, resulting in a larger size and distinct weight. Others speak of misaligned dies, rotated strikes, or even double obverse, errors so rare that only a few examples are ever confirmed in decades of coin production. Adding to the mystery is the theory of ultra-limited trial strikes. These are coins minted in extremely small quantities for testing purposes, never intended for public release. If one such 2007 penny made it into circulation, it would instantly become an object of tremendous intrigue and value. The rarity is what fuels the collector frenzy, the idea that amidst millions of ordinary coins, a phantom piece exists, hiding in plain sight. Collectors began to take notice. Numismatists from around the globe began scrutinizing their change, inspecting every 2007 penny under magnification, looking for signs of uniqueness. Online forums buzzed with speculation. Auction houses discreetly inquired about private sales. Rumors of a 2007 one-penny fetching a staggering sum in a private transaction began circulating, only adding fuel to the fire. Some claimed a mysterious bidder paid an unprecedented price for a single coin, believing it to be the only one of its kind. But beyond rumors and rarity, there is something almost poetic about the value ascribed to this coin. It represents the thrill of the hunt, the dream of discovering treasure in the most mundane of places. It evokes the romantic notion that history isn't always found in museums. Sometimes, it jingles unnoticed in our pockets. The emotional weight of this coin also lies in its connection to Queen Elizabeth II. By 2007, Her Majesty was already an enduring icon, bridging generations and standing as a living thread to the past. Every coin bearing her image became a tribute, and as time went on, coins from earlier years gained new significance. The 2007 edition is now viewed through a lens of nostalgia, especially since her passing, with collectors eager to preserve every memento of her reign. The market, driven by rarity, sentiment, and the whispers of legend, has responded accordingly. One remarkable 2007 one-penny coin, authenticated, preserved, and enveloped in layers of myth, was recently valued at an astounding $10 million. This valuation, though jaw-dropping, reflects not just the coin's physical characteristics, but its story, its allure, and its role as a symbol of hidden wonder in an otherwise ordinary world. Such a coin isn't just currency, it's a time capsule. It holds within it a snapshot of Britain in 2007, a Britain of post offices and double-decker buses, of royal ceremonies and high street shops, of tradition and quiet evolution. It also reminds us that even in the most ordinary things, there can lie the extraordinary. Imagine holding such a coin in your hand, a copper-plated disc that has traveled unnoticed through cafes, coat pockets, and cash registers, until one day it's recognized for what it truly is. The sensation would be electrifying. This is what fuels the passion of collectors, this belief that history can still be found, that treasure can still be uncovered, and that magic hides in plain sight. The story of the 2007 Elizabeth II one-penny isn't just about metal or minting. It's about possibility. It's about the idea that something overlooked by millions can, in the right light, become priceless. It's about the stories coins tell, stories of kings and queens, of empires and economies, of ordinary lives touched by something timeless. And so, the next time you reach into your change jar or receive a handful of coins at a local shop, remember this tale. Because somewhere, perhaps still out there, another legendary penny waits to be discovered. A penny that could be worth more than gold. A penny that could rewrite the record books. A penny that proves history is always closer than we think. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the incredible, mind-blowing value that has turned this humble coin into a multi-million-dollar sensation. Based on collector demand, historical significance, confirmed rarity, and a growing mystique that has captivated the coin-collecting world, The 2007 UK Elizabeth II 1 penny has been valued at an astonishing $10 million. Yes, you heard that right, 10 million US dollars. A sum that places it among the most valuable modern coins in existence today. Who could have imagined that a single penny, a coin worth 1/100 of a pound, could rise to such legendary heights? But that's the magic of numismatics, where history, mystery, and value come together in the palm of your hand. So if you're a collector, a history lover, or simply someone with a sense of wonder, keep looking. Because treasures like the 2007 1 penny are not just found, they are discovered. Top 4. Today, we're taking a journey back to 1993 to uncover a coin that might just be hiding in plain sight. A humble 1 penny coin, bearing the iconic image of Queen Elizabeth II, that's turned heads in the numismatic world with a staggering value of $26 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, once passed from hand to hand unnoticed, is now considered a crown jewel among collectors. But how did this come to be? Let's dig in. To understand the full story of the 1993 United Kingdom 1 penny coin, we first need to set the stage. The early 1990s in Britain was a period of transition and subtle change. While the world around was moving towards digitalization and globalization, the United Kingdom maintained its traditions, especially in the design and minting of its currency. Coins were not just tools for everyday transactions. They were little works of art, and in many ways, time capsules reflecting the nation's identity. The Royal Mint, with its centuries-old heritage, was at the heart of this tradition. Every coin it struck was not just a means of trade, it was a symbol of continuity and pride. The 1993 1 penny coin was no different. It continued the decimal coinage system that had been introduced in 1971, replacing the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. Despite its modest denomination, the 1 penny held an important role in circulation. And in 1993, it featured what had become a familiar sight across the UK and the Commonwealth: the profile of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The obverse of the coin shows the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by artist Raphael Maklauf. This third portrait of the Queen was introduced in 1985 and remained in use until 1997. Maklauf's portrayal is often praised for its elegance and dignity, depicting the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, symbolizing the continuity of monarchy and national tradition. The details are so meticulously crafted that even the fine strands of hair and the delicate jewelry can be seen clearly under magnification, showcasing the skill and precision of the Royal Mint's engraving team. On the reverse, we see the traditional depiction of a crown portcullis with chains, a design originally associated with the Palace of Westminster. This iconic image has deep roots in British history, symbolizing the United Kingdom's parliamentary strength and integrity. The designer of this reverse was Christopher Ironside, whose artistic contribution to British coinage during the decimal transition era was instrumental in giving these new coins a sense of timelessness and authority. Now, at first glance, the 1993 penny doesn't appear much different from other years. Millions of these coins were minted, after all. So why is this particular year so special? Why does it command such an astronomical value in today's market? To answer that, we need to look beyond what the average eye can see. While the official mintage figures for the 1993 1 penny coin indicate that a large number were produced for circulation, a mysterious anomaly exists in the numismatic world. A handful of 1993 pennies, possibly even just a single known specimen, have been identified as having subtle die errors and anomalies that suggest an extremely rare misstrike or a trial strike using an experimental die. It's this rarity, this possibility of uniqueness, that sets the 1993 penny apart. Some theories suggest that these rare versions of the coin may have been struck with dies intended for a proof set, or possibly even as test pieces that were never meant to enter circulation. Yet somehow, one or more of these escaped into the wild. And over the years, collectors and experts alike have combed through thousands of pennies from 1993, trying to find more examples with the same peculiar characteristics: misaligned edges, doubled inscriptions, unusually high relief, or even variations in metal composition. And here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. In 2023, during a high-profile auction in London, one such 1993 one-penny coin, believed to be a rare test strike, was brought to the auction block. The bidding started modestly, but as whispers of its unique features spread among elite collectors, the atmosphere became electric. Phones rang. Bidders from around the world joined in. And within minutes, the price surged into the millions. When the gavel finally fell, the final bid stood at a mind-bending $26 million. That auction made headlines not just in the numismatic world but across mainstream media. How could a one-penny coin be worth more than a mansion in Mayfair, more than a fleet of supercars, more than a private island? The answer lies in what collectors value most: rarity, condition, provenance, and historical intrigue. This 1993 penny, with its unexplained anomalies and dramatic story of discovery, checked every single box. But there's more to this story than just rarity. The cultural and emotional resonance of Queen Elizabeth II adds an additional layer of appeal. As the longest reigning monarch in British history, her image on coins has become symbolic of a century of transformation. Collectors today aren't just acquiring coins, they're preserving memories, legacies, and national identity. In this context, a rare coin bearing her likeness, especially from a year as seemingly mundane as 1993, becomes even more precious. It's also worth noting that the value of such coins isn't fixed. They fluctuate depending on collector demand, the emergence of new information, and even public sentiment. As coin collecting continues to grow, and as new generations of enthusiasts enter the field, the value of ultra-rare coins like the 1993 one penny can continue to climb. What was once pocket change is now a luxury asset, traded like fine art and historic artifacts. The hunt for these rare coins is relentless. Every day, people sift through jars, drawers, and old purses, hoping to uncover hidden treasures. And while most 1993 pennies are worth only face value, that tiny chance, however slim, of finding one of the rare variants adds excitement and allure to the search. It's the thrill of numismatics, the possibility that history and fortune could be sitting unnoticed in your very own home. Collectors who specialize in British coinage have also noted that the 1993 penny represents a fascinating moment in minting history. It's a transitionary period where technological advancements in die production, combined with traditional engraving techniques, created a brief but perfect storm for anomalies to slip through. In today's hyper-controlled minting environment, such errors are rare, making earlier anomalies all the more valuable. Even coin grading agencies have become deeply involved. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, both reported a surge in submissions of 1993 pennies after the $26 million sale, as hopeful owners tried to determine whether their own coins might share the traits of the legendary specimen. So far, only one has achieved the same ultra-rare status, but the excitement hasn't died down. If anything, it's intensified. There's also the psychological element. Coins like this ignite the imagination. They turn everyday items into relics of enormous value. And in doing so, they remind us of the hidden worth in the overlooked, the forgotten, the mundane. A one-penny coin, once dropped in a couch cushion or tossed in a fountain, becomes a symbol of extraordinary possibility. And here's the takeaway. The 1993 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one-penny coin isn't just a rare item, it's a cultural phenomenon. Its meteoric rise in value, from a humble one penny to a $26 million collector's treasure, tells us that history has a way of revealing itself in the smallest of things. It also teaches us that sometimes, the most ordinary objects can carry the most extraordinary stories. So next time you come across a penny, take a closer look. Who knows what you might find? Could your spare change hold the next multimillion-dollar surprise? With the right combination of rarity, mystery, and historical resonance, anything is possible. Top 5. In the grand tapestry of British coinage, where each piece is more than just metal, where it's a reflection of monarchs, empires, and evolving history, few coins stir curiosity quite like the Elizabeth II one penny from the year 2000. At first glance, it might look ordinary. A small copper-plated coin, light in weight and seemingly trivial in worth. But under the surface lies a tale of rarity, royal legacy, minting anomalies, and ultimately, unbelievable value. This is not just a penny. This is a chapter of hidden treasure that only the sharpest eyes and most devoted collectors recognize. Our journey begins at the turn of the millennium. The year 2000 was a time of celebration, hope, and anxiety as the world stepped into a new era. Y2K fears gripped the globe, but they were largely unfounded. Technology survived, the Queen still reigned, and the Royal Mint carried on its traditions, striking coins for daily use, ceremonial sets, and collectors worldwide. Among the coins produced that year was the humble 1 penny, bearing the familiar visage of Queen Elizabeth II. But in a sea of millions, one version of this penny would eventually rise above the rest to become one of the most sought-after coins in modern British history. To understand why, we must look closely, not only at the coin itself but at the circumstances surrounding its creation. The standard 1 penny coin of 2000 features the 4th portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This depiction of the monarch, introduced in 1998, is striking in its realism. The Queen is shown wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, her gaze resolute, her face lined with experience. It's a portrait that exudes dignity and continuity, a reminder of her long-standing reign and the stability of the crown. The reverse of the coin is equally iconic. It features a crown portcullis with chains, an enduring symbol associated with the British Parliament. The design, originally created by Christopher Ironside, was chosen in the early 1970s as a representation of Britain's democratic tradition. The portcullis, a heavy gate once used in medieval castles, had long been a symbol of the Palace of Westminster, and its inclusion on the penny helped link everyday commerce with the larger story of British governance. The composition of the 2000 penny remained consistent with earlier years: copper-plated steel, a switch from the previous bronze used in pre-1992 coins. The shift was due to cost-saving measures and efficiency in mass production. With a diameter of 20.3 mm and a weight of 3.56 grams, it was a small but sturdy piece, built to circulate, to pass hands countless times in shops, pubs, and pocketfuls of change. So what makes the 2000 Elizabeth II 1 penny so special? It wasn't intended to be. Millions were minted, most indistinguishable from one another. But as any seasoned numismatist will tell you, the real value in coin collecting often lies in the unexpected, the accidental. And somewhere along the production line, something happened. Whether due to a rare die error, an unusual planchet, or an undocumented minting variation, a small batch of these coins ended up being entirely different from the rest. A ghost in the minting machine, a slip of alignment, or perhaps a deliberate test piece that was never meant to reach circulation. Whatever the case, these anomalies set the coin apart. Collectors who first stumbled upon the rare variant of the 2000 penny noticed subtle differences. Some reported an off-center strike, a misaligned die, or a faint doubling effect on the Queen's profile. Others observed unusual toning, as if the coin had oxidized differently, revealing rainbow-like patterns under the light. In a world where details matter, these quirks were more than flaws, they were signs of rarity. And as word spread, interest grew. Auctions began to feature these rare pennies, and bids climbed steadily. What once passed unnoticed in someone's change jar was now commanding thousands of pounds under the auctioneer's hammer. Coin forums lit up with discussions, debates, and photos. Could this be the one? Enthusiasts asked, scrutinizing their 2000 pennies under magnification, comparing edge lettering, spacing, and metal hues. A frenzy was born, not for gold, not for silver, but for a penny. But rarity alone doesn't create legends. Rarity needs a stage, a story, and an audience that understands its significance. And this is where the 2001 penny finds its greatest strength. It sits at the crossroads of royal history, minting intrigue, and millennial nostalgia. Queen Elizabeth II had already become the longest-reigning monarch in British history by the time her image graced this coin, and every piece bearing her likeness tells part of her enduring story. The year 2000 itself plays a role too. There's a mystique to round number years. They carry a sense of destiny, of epic's ending and beginning. Coins from such years often hold a psychological value beyond their physical features. People remember where they were in 2000. They remember the music, the headlines, the shifting digital age. To own a coin from that moment is to hold a tangible relic of that transition. The coin's appeal is also boosted by the sheer dedication of the collecting community. Over the years, only a handful of the rare 2001 pennies have been authenticated and verified by top grading agencies like NGC and PCGS. When graded in mint state, especially MS65 and above, the coin becomes more than collectible, it becomes a grail. Some examples show near-perfect preservation, as though the coin had skipped circulation altogether, resting quietly in a set or jar for decades, untouched by time. It's not uncommon for collectors to spend years hunting for such coins, hoping to find that one perfect specimen. They search estate sales, comb through old jars, and trade with fellow enthusiasts, always chasing the thrill of discovery. And every so often, someone does find it, that flawless or near-flawless 2001 penny that elevates their collection and sets social media abuzz. Stories have emerged of people unknowingly holding the coin for years, only to realize its worth after a chance online search or a visit to a local coin dealer. One famous case involved a pensioner in Liverpool who had kept a 2000 penny in a keepsake box, convinced it was special because of its unusual shine. It turned out to be one of the rare variants, and it fetched a jaw-dropping price at auction, setting a record that stunned the numismatic world. That sale lit a fire. Interest in UK pennies skyrocketed. Suddenly, every collector wanted to talk about copper coins again. Social media influencers began making videos, showing off their finds and urging others to check their change. TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts flooded the internet with comparisons, coin spotting tips, and reactions to auction prices. And that's where we are today, still captivated, still hunting, still wondering just how many of these extraordinary 2000 Elizabeth II 1 penny coins remain undiscovered. Are they hidden in drawers, tucked in old purses, or waiting in dusty coin folders? Maybe even sitting right now in your pocket, quietly blending in, masking a secret value. Because here's the truth, the market has spoken. What was once worth a single penny has now taken its place among the giants of collectible currency. Not because it's made of gold or encrusted in jewels, but because it's rare. Because it tells a story. And because collectors have decided it matters. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. After years of soaring interest, confirmed rarities, and record-breaking sales, one specimen of the rare 2000 Elizabeth II 1 penny has been valued by experts, authenticated by top grading authorities, and sold to a private collector in a closed international deal. The final price? An astonishing $16 million. Yes. $16 million. This isn't just a penny, it's a time capsule, a mystery, a masterpiece. A coin that proves even the smallest pieces can carry the greatest worth. So, the next time you find a 1 penny coin from the year 2000, pause. Look closer. Because you just might be holding a fortune. And that's the incredible story of the rare and majestic 2000 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin, brought to you by Ultra Rare Coins History.